Hello there everyone, and welcome to a new review on the channel. And today we're looking at a product that I kind of had my eye on for a little bit, and that is KODA by Pierce and the 1914. A very interesting pin code routine that kind of caught my eye. I never decided to buy it, but similarly with the past few products that I've reviewed, because of the Black Friday sale on the 1914, I decided to pick it up, and I'm going to make a review on it for you because it does have some things that you do need to know before buying, and you also do need to know that it's very, very good. So let's roll the intro and get straight into it. Perfect, so decide to stick around, which means you want to learn more about KODA. So what is KODA? KODA is essentially a pin code reveal with borrowed pin codes. It's a little bit interesting to explain and a bit weird to explain. So I think the best way for me to show you what this is to perform it for you. So I'm gonna imagine you, again, I don't have a spectator, but we're gonna imagine you're the spectator here through this screen. What you're gonna tell your spectators that you're gonna try and do something here with a pin code. Something maybe that they put on their bank card or on their phone, but you don't actually want to use their pin codes, because what you found is that people are easier to read when you use their pin codes because they have an emotional attachment to it. It's either maybe a date of birth, maybe it's their favorite series of numbers, maybe it's an anniversary date, maybe it's an important date. So it's easier to get information from them and cues from them when reading a pin code that's personal to them. So what you found is the best way to actually do this is to use random pin codes. And what you have here is a series of random, maybe 40 or so pin codes that you found online and that you wrote down, so that these pin codes have no emotional attachment to the spectator, so that it's even harder for you to actually get the pin code from them. So then you would instruct them to just touch one. So they would just go ahead and touch one. Let's say you touch maybe, I don't know, let's say you touch this one, okay? So what I'm gonna do here is I hope it's the good way around to the camera. I hope you can see that. If not, I'm going to just turn it around like this, so you can see both ways. I hope that you got the pin code. So normally that would go in their pocket. They could hold it in their hand however they want. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this piece, this extra billet here, and I'm gonna try and get some information from your pin code here. Let's start with the last digit of the pin code. Can you start with the last? We'll start with the last digit. Just think of it. Think of the last digit of the pin code for me. It's a 5, is it not? It's a 5, right? Yeah, that's what I was getting as well. Now I want you to think, let's go for the next digit. Just think of it. Don't say it out loud. Don't try to give anything away. Just think of the last digit, of the next digit. It's a repeating one for some reason. It's like a repeating digit. It's like a 1, but it's like 1, 1, the 2 and the 3. You were thinking, oh, this you want me to think of 2 or 3 because you were thinking of 1. They're both 1s, correct? And now think of the first digit. The first digit. I'm gonna say the numbers from 0 to 9 and back, and just think yes on that digit. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. It's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7. It's a 6, is it not? Is the pin code that you're thinking of 6115? Is that the pin code that you were going for? And then they will reveal here that exactly that is what they went for, 6115, and that you got it head on. That's essentially the routine of KODA and what it would look like if you were to perform it to one spectator. It is as clean as that. Now that you know what KODA is, let's talk about where you buy this, how much does it cost, and what do you get. So you can buy this from, of course, a 1914 on their website. It will set you back £25, which is around 30 US and around 40 Canadian dollars. And what you get is an instructional video that lasts close to 2 hours long. It's hard to exactly know with the 1914 because every video is a simple rubric, but I think it's around maybe an hour and a half-ish. and you get really good instructions on everything you need to know. You know how to build. You're going to also need some billets. These are not provided to you, so you're going to need some billets. I'm using the 1914 billets as well. I bought them at the same time with the trick because I knew I was going to do it, so I bought that as well. But in the actual video, what you get an intro, you get 2 methods. You get the original method and an easier method. We're going to dissect that and the difficulty of the effect in a moment. Then you get 3 routines. You get 1 routine that you just saw, which is like a direct mind reading using different ploys. Then you get a 2 spectator routine, which is the one that I really like. You have 1 spectator select a card and 1 spectator make up a random pin code, and then you're able to get both pin codes. And then you have another routine that you can do for 3 or 4 spectators, where 3 or 4 spectators take the pin code, and it's like a lie detector kind of psychometry routine, where you're able to tell them, look at this pin code, 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 this is yours, this is yours, this is yours. And the last one, of course, without them ever having to peek at it or look at it or whatever, they're holding it in their hand, you're able to tell them your pin code is, let's say, 9384 or something like that, right? So that's the other routine that you get, and you get all the credits and everything that you need for that, as well as a PDF that you can download to have as a reminder in case you forget maybe how this works or anything like that. That is provided to you as well. Moving on now to difficulty. So how difficult is this to perform? So the first thing that you're going to do when you buy this is you're going to have to prepare your stacks. You're going to have to get your billets or bills or whatever you want to do this on, index cards or playing cards, double-sided blank cards, whatever you want. You're just going to need cards to write your things on it. And you're going to have to decide which version do you want to do. The original version, in my opinion, is much better, and I'm going to tell you why in a moment. But the original version does require a bit more mental gymnastics than the other version. The original version will require you to do a bit of math and to remember a few specific steps that are going to lead you to the garden path of getting to the code, okay? It uses, of course, this uses a stack. I won't tell you exactly what, but I think you already have an idea of what this is. But it uses a stack that you all know, so it's not like mnemonica or Aronson or anything like that. It's a very simple stack that everyone already knows. If you've been in Magic or Mentalism for more than 6 months, you already know the stack. But with that stack, you also have to do a bit of mathematics to get to your end result. However, the other version is much simpler. You still need to know the stack, so that stack doesn't disappear. You still need to know it, but the mathematical principle at bay is much easier to remember, it's less complicated, and it's less difficult. However, there's a drawback here, is I find, I'm not the biggest math savvy guy. I did a lot of math, I did a lot of pure and applied sciences back in when I was in school and in CEGEP, and before moving to where I am now, I did a lot of math and of advanced math. And to me, the second method, I feel, was a bit too easy to kind of piece together a sequence or a method behind the effect. I think if you were to do it to someone that's really math savvy or someone that knows a lot about math or is very good at math, in the second version, which is much easier for you to perform as a performer, they may find maybe a sequence or some hints as to how it's done. Whereas the other version, it is impossible because it is so random the way it works and what you have to do to piece together the code. I feel not only do the codes look more random, the method is much less apparent. It's almost imperceptible. So yes, you do have to learn a bit more and work a tiny bit more on the first method, but even if you were to do it to someone that's math savvy or really good with math, the first method would never raise any flags. They will have no clue as to how it's done. Whereas the other one, yes, it's much easier. It doesn't require any memory work. It's basically self-working kind of, but it does kind of give you a sequence of numbers that is maybe a bit more detectable. That's all I'm going to say. But overall, it is relatively easy. It took me maybe, I would say, 5 to 10 minutes to understand the principle. I did it to myself a few times, did a few mistakes. Then I, again, reread the PDF, re-listened to it 5-10 minutes again. And then I was ready to go every single time. I've tried it over 20 times since then. Every single time, head on, I'm able to do it. So I'd say maybe 20 minutes max for the first method, and you're ready to go perform this at any point. Moving on now to practicality. So how practical is this? Well, what you need to carry around for this is a stack of cards, and that's it. So you take your billets. What I did is I took some rubber bands as well. I band this up together. So just as so, it's kind of just like this. I band this up and I put this either in my Maverick, either in my pocket, either in my pants pocket, and I'm ready to go. So all you need to do is carry around this. If you want to do the one-person variation, you don't even need an extra bill or a billet or a paper. You can literally just do it mentally. So you tell them, focus on your numbers here. I'm seeing this here, here. You don't even need this. It's much preferable to have this at the start as well. If you start, it's going to help you get grounded a bit more and give you a bit of a basis if you have one of these, but you don't necessarily need them. Same thing for the four-person variation or the three-person variation. You do not need anything else but this. However, if you want to do the two-spectator one, you will need 2 extra pieces of paper that are blank, your KODA deck, and your pen. But for most of the routines, if you want, you can just carry around your KODA pack, no pen, nothing, and you're ready to go. But I still recommend having an extra bit of empty ones, just because I feel it's much nicer to reveal and have it or give it to them and show it like that and have it right. I think it's more visual, it's more entertaining than just doing it in the air or without anything, but that's up to you, preference, style, and whatever. That's fully up to you. But practicality wise, carrying capacity wise, it's very good. In terms of inspectability, the deck is fully inspectable. Everything you do is fully inspectable. It can be repeated non-stop. People, I don't think, are ever going to find the method. So you can do this non-stop. It's going to work constantly. It can be done surrounded. There's no real anything that you have to hide. So it can be done fully surrounded. It can be done with a table or no table, standing up. Practicality wise, it is great. Regarding where to perform. So where would you perform this? You could perform this mainly close-up, table hopping, restaurant, any close-up environment, you can do this. However, in parlor, I feel parlor cabaret, you can still do this. I think it's very good. However, I think on stage, you could also do this as pre-show. You could use this as a utility device in pre-show to maybe have a spectator select one of these codes, remember it, and then you tell them, later on in the show, I'm going to have random people think of codes, remember your code, right? Remember it. Can you maybe write it down on your phone, whatever, or keep the bill in your pocket in case, and look at it while I ask for the codes. And then in the audience, you ask, you're thinking of a code, correct? Can you stand up for me, think of your code, and you do KODA, right? And it works for stage, and it seems even more insane than it actually is. So you can use this as a utility for stage or parlor cabaret as well, and not only a close-up trick for close-up environments. Having said all of this, what are the positives and negatives of KODA? Well, let's start as always with the negatives. What are the negatives of KODA? There are not many. I think the only possible negative that I could find for this, if I stretch it, is that I feel the second method, even though it's not the main method of this, even the creator says, you know, I don't want to use that method, I want to use this, but we're just providing it to you if ever you're scared of doing the first method. We give you a fallback. But the second method, I think, could be a bit transparent if you were to do it to more savvy, mathematical savvy people. I think it's a bit transparent, but that's the only really negative thing that I can say. However, in terms of the positives, one, it is a very fun routine. It has an incredible premise. It is relatively easy to do. It packs small, it plays big. It's very practical. It can be done in a lot of situations. It can even be used as a utility pre-show device. And it's just a fun routine, not only to perform, but to do. And the variations of 2 or 3 spectators is insane as well. It is so good. The 2 spectator variation is chef's kiss. It's incredible. So having said all this, what do I give KODA out of 10 and would I recommend it? If you are a mentalist and you are not scared of a bit of memory work, like this bit, like minimalistic memory work and a bit of maths, I heavily say run to the 1914 and pick this up. It is absolutely great. I'm giving KODA a 9.5 on 10. It is fantastic, an incredible product, and I heavily recommend it. Having said that, thank you so much for watching. As always, if you have any additional questions, leave them down below. If not, like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in my next review. Have a great one.